Forget the usual celebrity headlines. What we're breaking down today is a story that goes way deeper. It's about power, industry secrets, and a legal playbook designed to keep things quiet. This is a Hollywood power play, and the stakes are absolutely massive.
And let me be clear, this is all happening right now. The lawsuit we're about to unpack was filed on January 2nd, 2026. We're recording this on January 5th, so this story is as fresh and live as it gets, and the shockwaves are just starting to hit. All right, so who are the key players in this drama? On one side, you have a global superstar, Will Smith, and his company Trey Ball Studios. And on the other, you have Brian King Joseph, a phenomenal violinist you might know as a finalist from America's Got Talent, who was hired for Smith's big 2025 comeback tour. And the allegations in this brand new lawsuit are, well, they're explosive. The filing claims a pattern of really predatory behavior. It accuses Smith of, and I'm quoting here, grooming and conditioning Joseph for sexual exploitation. We're talking about a claim of a deeply hostile and frankly terrifying work environment. Okay, so let's get right into the core of the complaint. It all centers around this one deeply disturbing incident that allegedly went down in March of 2025, while the tour was stopped in Las Vegas. This is the moment, according to the lawsuit, where everything blew up. According to the filing, the timeline of events is just chilling. It apparently starts one afternoon when Joseph's hotel room key just vanishes from a crew van. Hours go by. When he finally gets back to his room late that night, he finds evidence that someone has been inside. So he does exactly what you're supposed to do. He reports it immediately to hotel security, to Smith's team, and to the police. And here's what Joseph claims he found waiting for him in that room. First, this handwritten note. But it gets weirder. He also allegedly found personal wipes and a bottle of HIV medication that was prescribed to a completely different person. For him, this wasn't some kind of joke. He took it as a direct and serious threat. Now, here's the crucial part of the story. Just days after Brian King Joseph did everything by the book and reported this terrifying security breach, he was fired from the tour, just like that. Gone. And this, of course, is where the two sides of the story completely split. The lawsuit alleges that instead of actually investigating his complaint, Smith's management shamed him, told him he was lying, and then gave him the boot. Joseph's legal team is calling this a classic pretext, a flimsy excuse, and they say the proof is that another violinist was hired right away. The tour obviously still needed a violinist. You know, this case is about more than just one incident. It really pulls back the curtain on what some legal insiders say is a classic, almost secret industry tactic that's used to silence people. It's called wrongful termination, but it's really all about retaliation. Now, under California law, this is so important to understand. You are not allowed to fire an employee for reporting something that they, in good faith, believe is illegal or unsafe. The very act of firing them because they reported it is its own separate illegal act. It doesn't even matter if the original claim is ever proven true. It's a law built specifically to protect whistleblowers. So you have to ask, right? In a state with a law that clear on the books, why on earth would a major company ever risk it? Well, this next slide pretty much breaks down the legal playbook and the huge risk they decided to take here in 2026. This chart really shows you why this is such a gamble for Smith's team today. Just look at that third row, retaliatory firing. In the past, a manager could just say, I decided to fire him, and that was often enough. But things have changed. Because they fired Joseph so close in time to his complaint, the law now basically presumes it was retaliation. The burden of proof completely flips. Now they have to prove they had a legitimate, non-discriminatory reason to fire him. And that is a very, very tough hill to climb. To really get what's at stake here, you have to look at the massive power dynamic in play. I mean, this is not just some boss versus an employee. This is a global icon against a touring musician. $350 million. That's Will Smith's estimated net worth. And that number, it's not just about money. It represents a level of influence, connections, and legal firepower that can feel absolutely impossible for one person to stand up against. And the timing of all this is just, it's staggering. This lawsuit, filed January 2nd, 2026, drops right in the middle of this huge, carefully planned comeback. But wait a minute. Wasn't this tour, the Based on a True Story tour, supposed to be the main event of that comeback? This was meant to be his big return to the world stage after the whole Oscars incident. So what does it all mean? What's the real fallout from this lawsuit that just dropped on January 2nd?
Well, it could be absolutely massive, and not just for Will Smith, but for the way the entire industry operates.
So let's break down who is legally on the hook here. First, Will Smith himself. He faces personal liability, which means he can't just hide behind his company's lawyers. Then, of course, Treyball Studios is on the hook for what its management team did. But the biggest target here might be the whole entourage culture. You know, the army of fixers whose only job is to protect the star no matter what. This lawsuit is a huge warning shot saying that that protective shield is actually a legal liability.
Now, as you'd expect, Will Smith's legal team has come out swinging. His lawyer, Alan Grodsky, put out a statement calling the allegations false, baseless, and reckless, and issued a categorical denial. So the battle lines are officially drawn. This is going to be a major fight. And that really brings us to the huge question at the very heart of this case. A question that echoes down every hallway of every studio and on every tour bus in Hollywood. When the entire system is built to protect the star, who is there to protect the crew? This lawsuit, filed just days ago on January 2nd, 2026, is about to force an answer.
Thanks for watching Media GenX. If you liked this story, show some love with a like, subscribe for future updates, and share it around. Until the next headline.